Hey everybody, it's Nick Chino here with you from the Y108 Evening Show. You can catch me weeknights from 6:30 to midnight. And welcome to my full review of the brand new album from the Foo Fighters, Concrete and Gold.
This is a call to all my past resignations. This is a call to all.
Concrete and Gold is the 9th studio album from the Foo Fighters, and this time they decided to change things up by working with a producer named Greg Kurstin, who's with a band called The Bird and the Bee, who Dave Grohl became a huge fan of over the last couple of years. And Greg Kurstin is known for producing some of the biggest pop records in the world by artists like Adele and Pink, so he knows how to produce hit records.
Don't wanna be your monkey rich. One more indecent accident.
Alright, so before we get into the new album, you might want to head over to vigilantedetective.com and check out a couple of my Foo Fighters related posts. The first one is just like a ranking before, Sonic Highways came out, or just when it came out, was a ranking of the Foo Fighters 8 studio albums. You can check that out right now if you want to see where my hierarchy of Foo albums falls. And then you can also check out a blog called 15 Awesome Foo Fighters Songs That You Never Knew Existed, which is just a way of me kind of being able to pass along some kind of lesser known Foo gems to you, the listener. If you're a Foo Fighters fan but you haven't heard a lot of their B-sides, I kind of rounded them out all there for you. So you can check that out right now at vigilantedetective.com.
There goes my hero. Watch him as he goes.
So now we're here with this new album, Concrete and Gold, the follow-up to the Foo's album 2014's Sonic Highways, which I liked. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It was tied into an HBO series of the same name, which was great, which was kind of like, the history of rock and roll, which saw the band recording in different cities. And I thought the album felt a little bit forced. Because the band was writing lyrics about the cities that they were in, it felt like they were kind of trying to cram those ideas into the album. So it didn't quite gel for me, but I love the album they released before that. 2011's Wasting Light, I think, is one of the Foo's best albums, and it just shows that they're still capable of producing most excellent music. And I'm happy to say that Concrete and Gold is fresh, it's interesting, and it takes the Foo Fighters in new directions. I put this record on in the car the other day, gave it my first listen, and I was just surprised of how many different sounds the Foo Fighters got on this record.
Wake up. Run for your life with me.
One of the biggest advantages of working with Greg Kurstin on this album is the harmonies. Dave Grohl described in a Concrete and Gold making of video online, which you have to check out. It's animated. It's hilarious. But he said that working with Greg Kurstin, he had so many different harmony ideas that the band hadn't ever explored before. So this is kind of getting into like Beatle and Beach Boy territory in terms of the complicated harmonies that are on here. But then you think, okay, well, the harmonies, it must be all about the singing and stuff. No, of course, Dave Grohl's got an amazing voice. The harmonies are amazing, featuring like Justin Timberlake and one of the members of Boyz II Men providing harmonies on the record. But no, this album is riff-tastic. There are so many riffs on this album, on songs like Make It Right and La Di Da, and on the first single, Run. There's just no shortage of riffs on this album, and it kind of brings together all the things you love about the Foo Fighters while still, setting them forward in a new direction.
In another perfect life, we run.
In terms of the songs on this album, highlights for me included T-Shirt, which is the beginning song of the record. It's a very short song. It's like under 2 minutes long, kind of like Doll was on the color and the shape. But be careful. If you have the album turned up loud when you first put it in, on your stereo, or you're listening to it on your computer or in the car or whatever, give yourself a second, because it starts out quiet. Dave Grohl's just kind of singing a nice little song, and then it just blows up into this explosion of harmonies and guitars, and it's really, really cool. A little bit short, but it's still really neat. I also liked Make It Right, the third song on the album, which is just like, it's got an amazing riff on it. It just rocks so hard. La Di Da, another song that rocks really hard on this record. The two singles that we've gotten so far, Run and The Sky is a Neighborhood, both sound amazing on this record as well.
The sky is a neighborhood, so keep it down.
Another great song is called Dirty Water, which is, another song that starts out kind of, slow and acoustic with Dave Grohl just singing really, really calm. But then by the end of it, it's rocking like a regular Foo Fighters song. Taylor Hawkins gets to sing another song on this record. We haven't heard him sing on a Foo Fighters record since In Your Honor back in 2005. He sings a song called Sunday Rain with Paul McCartney on drums. So that's pretty cool. One of the more psychedelic songs from the record. And then also I love Happily Ever After 0 Hour, which is just a really cool acoustic Foo Fighters song. We know that they can do amazing acoustic stuff, and I really loved Happily Ever After as well.
Oh my dear, heaven is a big bang now. Got to get to sleep somehow. Banging on the ceiling, banging on the ceiling. Keep it down.
As I said, we have a new producer on this album, Greg Kurstin, who does some amazing things with production on this album. The only thing that I noticed when I put it in my car when I was listening, and I always, that's my test of every new album. I listen to it front to back in my car. I got a decent system. I turn it up, drive around and really, really listen to the record. The only thing I could say is that maybe this record, the mix is a little bit muddy. As incredible as the production is, it doesn't sound quite as crystal clear as some of the albums we've heard from the Foo Fighters before. Even Sonic Highways was a little bit clearer than this album. I'm not complaining about it. It still sounds fantastic. But maybe a little bit of a brighter mix would have been cool, but otherwise, fantastic production from Greg Kurstin and the Foo Fighters.
I need some room to breathe. You can run with me if you wanted to.
Overall, I think I would give this album, let's go 8.5 out of 10. As far as where it stands in the pantheon of Foo Fighters albums and my favorites, not quite sure yet. I think it's going to be maybe in the middle. It could be up there. It's growing on me with every listen. Every time I listen to this record, I've been loving it. So you know what? I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10 right now for the new Foo Fighters record, Concrete and Gold. But you should definitely check it out, whether you're a Foo Fighters fan, lifelong, or you've never really checked out a Foo Fighters album. This is maybe not the one to start with because it is a little bit weird for the Foo Fighters. It does go in some different directions. There's not a Monkey Wrench or an Everlong or those kind of songs on here. But you know what? For a 9th studio album, the Foo Fighters are still bringing us the goods. Alright, so that is my review of the Foo Fighters album, Concrete and Gold. I really loved it, but let me know what you thought of it in the comments, and let me know what you thought of the album, where it stands in the pantheon of Foo Fighters albums for you, and also make sure to check out the blogs as well, liveandaway.ca/Nick, vigilantedetective.com. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you again next time for the next music and movie review. This is Chino, out.